I traveled 6 hours back to my hometown to surprise my parents for their 20th wedding anniversary with an unexpected weekend visit. I was at the mall, choosing a photo album as a gift, when I heard my mother's voice. My heart sank as I looked up, my face draining of color. Across the store, there was my mom with Mr. Carter, our neighbor from 5 houses away, so caught up in kissing that they didn't see me standing just 20 feet away. She was supposed to be at her book club with friends. Stunned, I ducked behind a display and bolted outside, my hands trembling as I dialed my brother, Luca. "Where's Mom right now?" I asked. "Book club with her friends." "Why?" Luca replied. "She's at the mall with Nathan Carter." Silence. "Then what? No way, you're mistaken." I peeked through the shop window. "They're holding hands heading into a jewelry store right now. I'm watching them." A long pause. "No way, Nathan, from down the street?" "Yeah." "What do we do?" Luca asked. "Don't confront her yet. Follow them. I'm on my way." I heard his keys jangle. "I'm 10 minutes out. Keep watching and text me updates." For 20 minutes, I trailed them, snapping photos that made my stomach churn. They shared an ice cream cone, took selfies, his hand resting on her lower back. Each image made me feel sicker. They entered Giovanni's restaurant and were seated. Luca arrived, breathless. "Where are they?" "Giovanni's just sat down. We need to tell Elise his wife got her number." "Mom does. They play bunco together," I said. Luca scrolled through Mom's phone bill screenshot from our shared account and found the Carter's landline. I dialed, hands shaking. "Mrs. Carter, Elise, it's Milo from down the street, Scarlett's son." "Hi, dear. Is something wrong?" Her voice was warm but concerned. "I need to tell you something. Can you sit down? You're worrying me. What's going on?" "I'm at the mall and Nathan is here with my mom. They're together." Silence. "Then what?" Her voice cracked. "I have pictures. They're at Giovanni's 3rd floor." I heard a thud on her end like something fell. "No, he said he was working late," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I'm so sorry, Elise. Luca's here too. We just found out." She was crying now. "Send me the photos, please." I sent them. Her gasp was audible, followed by sobs. "Milo, we're confronting them. Do you want to come?" "I'm on my way," she said, her voice suddenly steady. "Don't do anything until I get there. 15 minutes. "We need to call Dad too," I told Luca. He was already dialing. "Dad, where are you?" "At the hardware store. What's wrong?" "Mom's at the mall with Nathan Carter." "It's not book club, it's a date. We have photos." A heavy silence. "Jesus," Dad muttered. "Giovanni's?" "Yeah, Elise is coming too. 10 minutes." He hung up. Mom texted our family group chat, "Book club running late, home for dinner." "Love you all," Luca replied, "enjoy Mom." Elise arrived first, her sister Nora with her. Her eyes were red from crying. "Where are they?" "Still in there, window table," I said. She peered through the glass doors and fresh tears fell. "That's our anniversary spot," she whispered. "He takes me there for our anniversary." Dad arrived, looking shattered. He exchanged a nod with Elise, no words needed. "I called my friends," Elise said softly. "Clara and Lena. They're coming for support." Soon her friends arrived. Clara hugged Elise tightly. "We need a plan, honey," Luca spoke up. "We can't all just barge in." "Why not?" Elise's voice trembled. "Let everyone see what they've done." Dad agreed. "She's right, let's go." Walking into Giovanni's felt like stepping into a dream. The host tried to stop us, but we pushed past. There they were, Mom feeding Nathan a bite of her dessert, both laughing. Dad reached them first. "Scarlett." Mom's fork hit the plate with a clink. "Jasper, why are you?" "Book club looks different than I expected," he said coldly. Nathan stood. "Jasper, let me explain." "Sit down," Dad snapped. Elise appeared, Nora steadying her. "Nathan," her voice broke. "Our anniversary restaurant." The whole restaurant turned to stare. Someone muttered, "Oh, damn." Mom tried to stand. "We can explain." "Explain what?" Dad's voice was like steel. 20 years of marriage." Luca and I stepped forward. "Mom," her eyes met ours and she started crying. "Boys, please." "You lied," Luca said. "Book club, seriously." Elise was sobbing. "Our kids, Nathan, what about our kids?" Nathan reached for her. "Elise, please, don't," she said, stepping back. "How long?" Mom's voice was barely audible. 6 months. The restaurant gasped. Dad turned and walked out. We followed. That night, Mom's texts flooded in. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Your father stopped loving me. You boys ruined everything. You don't know what I found out that made me do this." I showed Dad the text. His face paled and he said he needed a walk. I watched him step heavily onto the porch and disappear into the night. Luca and I exchanged a glance, silently agreeing to follow him. By 9:30, we were trailing Dad down our quiet street, staying far enough back to go unnoticed. His shoulders shook as he walked slower than usual. At the park where he'd taught us to ride bikes years ago, he sat on a swing, the chains creaking as he rocked, head buried in his hands. 15 minutes later, Mom's car screeched into the driveway. She stumbled out, rushing inside, calling Dad's name. When she saw us on the porch, she froze, her makeup streaked black down her face. "Where is he?" she demanded, gripping the railing. "He knows what you did," Luca said coldly. She grabbed his shoulders. "What did he tell you? What did he say about what he did?" Before we could respond, Elise's car sped by. Through their window 5 houses down, I saw her tossing Nathan's clothes onto their lawn. Neighbors' porch lights flicked on as people stepped outside to watch. Half an hour later, Dad returned. He walked past Mom without a word and went upstairs. Drawers opened and closed. Mom followed, and soon her muffled sobs came through their bedroom door. My phone buzzed. Our sister Leela, 16, texted from her friend's house. "Why's everyone talking about Mom and Mr. Carter? What's going on?" Luca called her instantly. When Leela got home 30 minutes later, she leapt from her friend's mom's car, tears streaming down her face. She ran past Mom, who sat at the kitchen table, and slammed her bedroom door, locking it. The next morning, Dad was gone before we woke. A note on the counter read, "Staying at a hotel. Need time to think. Take care of your siblings." Mom found it first, reading it 3 times before shredding it into bits. At 9, the doorbell rang. It was Sophie Carter, Nathan's 17-year-old daughter, trembling. "Is it true? My mom won't stop crying and Dad won't come home." I invited her in, making tea as she spoke. "I noticed things for months," she said, clutching the mug. "Dad was always working late, always had excuses. Mom sensed something but pretended everything was fine." After Sophie left, Luca slipped into Mom's room while she napped on the couch. He returned with her laptop. "I need to check something." After digging through her emails, his expression darkened. "These emails from Nathan go back 2 years, not 6 months. She lied." I called Dad about the emails. His voice was weary. "I know, I've known for months. I hoped we could fix it." That evening, Mom ordered pizza, setting 5 plates like it was a normal night. Leela came down, saw her plate, and threw it in the trash. "Stop pretending we're okay," she said, storming out. The next day, Dad texted that he was coming for more clothes. Mom spent 2 hours getting ready, wearing her best dress, makeup flawless. She looked desperate when she opened the door. When Dad arrived, she tried to hug him. He stepped back. "Don't, Scarlett," she sobbed harder than I'd ever seen. 20 years, Jasper, doesn't that mean anything? "You threw it away, not me," he said quietly, looking worn out. "And your claim about finding something out, we both know that's a lie." Mom's face hardened. "You want to talk about lies? What about Ellen from work? That business trip to Seattle?" Dad's jaw tightened. "Ellen's a colleague. Seattle was work. Stop inventing stories to justify yourself." That evening, Elise texted me. "Can you kids come for dinner? My children need to know they're not alone." We went without telling Mom, who was on her 3rd glass of wine. The Carter house felt empty. Their 12-year-old Ben didn't eat. Sophie kept checking her phone. Elise tried to act normal, but kept trailing off mid-sentence. 3 days later, the anniversary party invitations still hung on our fridge, elegant cards we'd ordered months ago. Mom saw them, tore them down, and burned them in the sink. The smoke alarm blared until Luca ripped out the battery. The next morning, Dad asked us to meet at a diner. "I'm filing for divorce," he said, stirring his coffee without looking up. "I wanted you to hear it from me." When we got home, Mom was on the phone with Nathan. "You said you loved me. You promised we'd be together." She saw us and hung up. That afternoon, Leela's school called. She'd been skipping classes. When I asked her, she snapped, "Everyone knows, they're all talking about us." The next day, I saw Nathan at the gas station. He looked rough, unshaven, clothes wrinkled. "I'm sorry," he said. "I ruined everything." I got in my car without a word. A week later, divorce papers arrived by certified mail. Mom signed for them in her bathrobe at 10 a.m. She went to her room and I heard glass shatter. The next morning, a for sale sign appeared in the Carter's yard. Elise was loading boxes into her car. "I can't stay here," she said. 5 days later, Dad showed us his new apartment. Cheap furniture, bare walls, the smell of stale carpet. Leela cried, "This isn't home." At 3 in the morning, I found Mom in the dark living room, photo albums scattered across the coffee table. "We were so happy," she murmured, tracing old pictures. "Look at us." 2 days later, Clara came to our door. I overheard her tell Mom she was no longer welcome at their weekly card game. After Clara left, Mom realized her friends were gone too. The following week, Leela moved in with Dad. Mom stood in the driveway, sobbing as Leela loaded her things into Dad's car without a goodbye. That night, I followed Mom when she left the house. She drove to the motel where Nathan was staying after Elise kicked him out. She sat in the parking lot for an hour, staring at his room. The next morning, Mom spread job applications across the kitchen table. She hadn't worked in 15 years. Most forms stayed half-filled, like she couldn't focus. A week later, our house went on the market. Mom couldn't afford it alone. She wandered the rooms, touching walls, whispering farewells to memories. 3 days later, while packing Mom's closet, I found a shoebox of letters from Nathan. She grabbed them from me. "This is all I have left." The next week, Leela called, upset. She'd seen Dad with a woman from his gym. It felt too soon. Mom heard about Dad's coffee date 2 days later. "He's already moved on. This proves he never loved me." Her reasoning was irrational, but she believed it. A week later, the house sold faster than expected. Mom had 30 days to pack up 20 years. She sat in the empty living room, staring at walls that held our Christmases. Moving day came quickly. Mom's new apartment was small, next to the highway, shaking with every passing truck. As we carried boxes upstairs, she kept apologizing. "This isn't what I wanted for us." 2 weeks later, on Thanksgiving, Mom ate alone while we went to Dad's. She texted a photo of a tiny turkey for one. Luca deleted it without looking. I didn't respond. The next day, Nathan showed up at Mom's apartment while I helped unpack. "We destroyed everything for nothing," he said, then left. Mom watched him from her window. A week later, Mom attended her first support group. She returned quiet. "I'm the only one there who cheated," she said. "Everyone else was betrayed." The next week, at Leela's school play, Dad brought his new girlfriend. Mom sat alone in the back. They didn't acknowledge each other. Leela saw them, froze on stage, and forgot her lines. 3 days later, Mom got a job at a retail store, barely covering rent. That night, I saw her cut up her credit cards with kitchen scissors. The following week, Mom found the photo album I'd bought for their anniversary, the one from the mall where it all unraveled. She held it, unaware I was there that day. 2 days later, Luca graduated college. He didn't invite Mom. She saw photos on social media and cried over each one. A week later, Mom ran into Elise at the grocery store. They stood frozen in the cereal aisle. Elise turned and left. Mom abandoned her cart and drove home. The next month, Dad made his new relationship official online. Mom saw it and deleted her social media accounts. "I can't watch him be happy," she said. 2 weeks later, a young family moved into the Carters' old house. Mom sat in her car, watching them unpack, seeing the life she'd lost. A few days later, Mom started therapy. After her first session, she was quiet. The therapist asked why I did it. I didn't have an answer. The following week, Leela agreed to dinner with Mom at Giovanni's, not realizing it was the restaurant where it all fell apart. When they sat down, Leela walked out. 3 days later was their 21st anniversary. Dad posted nothing. Mom sent him a long text he never answered. She checked her phone all day. A week later, Mom wrote Elise an apology letter but never sent it. "I don't expect forgiveness," she said. "I just needed to write it." On Christmas, we spent the morning with Dad and his girlfriend, then went to Mom's for dinner. Her small tree held half our old ornaments. The rest were at Dad's. Nothing felt whole. On New Year's Eve, Mom texted at midnight. "New year, new start. I love you all." Luca deleted it. Leela didn't reply. I sent a heart emoji. 2 weeks into January, I helped Mom hang photos in her apartment. Only pictures of us kids, none with Dad. She looked at her small space. "This is my life now. I did this." That's the story, folks. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride. If you made it to the end, drop a comment. I love hearing your thoughts.